All right, today we're going to do lesson 2-5, subtract decimals. And in this lesson, I can subtract decimals using the standard algorithm. Similar to yesterday's lesson, you will be lining up the decimals by place value, but instead of adding, today we'll be subtracting. Ms. Garcia is an electrician and has a length of wire that is 32.7 meters long. She has another length of wire that is 15.33 meters long. How much longer is the one wire one wire than the other? And longer than, we're looking for a difference. So we have the first value minus the second value. And this is where those annexing the zeros comes in really important, because we can't take 3 away from nothing. We have to put a 0 in there because we're going to have to do some regrouping. So I can't take 3 away from 0, so I'm going to have to cross out the 7 and make it a 6 and bring 10 over. I borrowed 1 from there. I'm bringing it over. Now I can subtract 6 minus 3. I've got everything lined up nicely. I can't take 5 away from 2, so I'm going to have to regroup here. 5 from 2 is 7. 12 minus 5 is 7, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So we wind up getting 17.37 meters longer is our answer. And notice we had to annex that 0 there so we could follow the rules for subtraction. And remember, in subtraction, there is no associative or commutative properties. You have to make sure you have things in the right order. You can't move stuff around. How can you use addition to check the answer? So to check our answer with using addition, which is really handy, is we can take our value, our answer that we got, the difference, and we can add it to the number we subtracted, and we should get the number we started out with. Let's double check that. And 3270, is that what we started out with? Yep, 32.7. 32.7 and 3270 are equal to each other. So we're able to use addition to check our subtraction. That's called an inverse operation. So we're kind of moving an opposite operation to help us check our work. And how can you subtract decimals is our essential question. What is the difference in the wingspan of 2 butterflies? Estimate before you find the actual answer. And so our first value, 5 and 92 hundredths of a centimeter, is pretty close to 6, so he decided 6. And 4 and 37 hundredths of a centimeter is closer to 4. So he says 6 minus 4 equals 2, so he thinks his answer will be around 2. Let's take a look at using the model that's very, very popular in Savvis. Using this kind of a model right here is very popular. So you need to get used to seeing that. We have the first value at the top is the larger butterfly. We're subtracting the smaller butterfly, and what's our missing value? So you're going to see that model a lot. Illustrate using the model illustration to show how we do some math, and you'll see that coming up a lot, and I'll talk about that as it comes up. We had it if you did some of the homework activities yesterday, for the heck of it, there was one in there. So you'll see it a lot. Step 1, write the numbers lining up the decimal points. Step 2, subtract the values. And step 3, go all the way to the end and get the whole subtraction model completed. The difference in the wingspan is 1 and 55 hundredths of a centimeter. The estimate was 2, and that's pretty close. And it's really good to estimate when you're doing subtraction decimals, because you want to make sure your answer is logical. It should have a 1-digit answer. We estimated it to be around 2. If we wind up with 15.5, then we're going to know, wait a minute, I think I had too many. I put the decimal in the wrong spot. So keep that in mind. And we're moving down to the convince me. And average adults upper leg measures 19.88 inches and the lower leg measures 16.94 inches. How much longer is the upper leg than the lower leg? And again, we're using that model right here where we have the larger value at the top. We're going to subtract out the smaller value. We want to find the missing number. So the difference. So we're going to take our larger value, subtract out our smaller value. Starting in the smallest place value. In this case, we're going to have to do some regrouping because I can't take 9 away from 8. Make sure my decimal's in there. And this is called a bar diagram. You're going to need to remember that. It's a special kind of a model that we use in word problems. It's a really good way, and you got to spell it right because I just didn't, diagram. It's a really good way to illustrate your thinking for the reader. So when you're taking the PSSA test or any kind of assessment test, you're going on up into middle school, your teacher will really know you understand what you're doing if you can illustrate your problem in a bar diagram. So we use that a lot. I like that model a lot. And I'm glad to see that this math series has it in there. It's a great model to use. All right, as we continue on with the guided practice, explain why 1 and 55 hundredths of a centimeter is reasonable answer for the difference of the wingspan of the two butterflies. It is reasonable because our estimate was 2. So you can say we estimated the answer to be 2. We estimated an answer of 2. So 1.55 is reasonable. Remember I said if we got a 15.5, we would know, whoa, we did something wrong. And in that case, it would be we put the decimal in the wrong spot. And for number 2, Maria rewrote 45 and 59 hundredths minus 7 and 9 tenths as 45 and 59 hundredths minus 7.90 is the value of 7.9 changed by annexing a 0 after the 7.9. And now remember we said they are exactly the same, and you can see some good vocabulary words in there. Annexing, these are words that you need to learn to use. Annexing is just we're putting a 0 in the place value to help us in our subtraction. Because remember, in decimals, I can add multiple zeros. I could even add another one if I wanted, or another one. It would still have the same value. Can't do that in whole numbers, but we can do it in decimals. And I didn't put the 0 before the 9. I put it after the 9, so it does not change the value. Okay, now we're going to go over and do a little subtract the decimals. And at home, you can always check your work on a calculator. Let's see if I can. Nope, can't do that. It's really hard for me to jam my answers in here. So I'm going to write off to the side. So if you're working in a notebook, you rewrite your problem. Make sure you have your decimals lined up. Can I take 1 away from 2? Yes, I can. Can I take 2 away from 6? Yes, I can. Can I take 5 away from 6? Yes, I can. And can I take nothing away from 1? Yes, I can. So I have 11.61. No regrouping needed on that one. 7.21 minus 6.1. This is a time where we're going to be annexing our 0. So 0 minus 1 take away 0 is 1. 2 take away 1 is 1. 7 take away 6 is 1. Number 5, 23.06, 8.24. 6 minus 4 is 2. 0 minus 2, can't do that. Going to have to do some regrouping. Now I'd say 10 minus 2 is 8. Can't do 1 minus 8. Got to do some more regrouping. 11 minus 8. And 1 minus nothing. Number 6, and so on. And remember, you can check your work on a calculator. Try not to bug your parents about all this. They have a lot going on. If you can check your work on a calculator, and if you understand what your mistake is, try to be independent and find your mistake, find your error. If you don't understand what you did wrong, remember, get that calculator out and check your work there. So 8 take away 2 is 6. I had to regroup. 10 take away 1 is 9. 3 take away 2 is 1. And that one, I believe, number 6 was a $sign. Don't forget that. In the online math test, if you don't put the $sign, a lot of times it will mark it wrong. So be careful you're not being sloppy. So here we go again. We're going to need to annex that 0. 0 take away 6, can't do that. 10 minus 6 is 4. 7 minus 7 is 0. 6 minus 2 is 4. And 5 minus nothing is 5. 8, 43.80 minus $16. Little borrowing. And so on. So you can finish up here, check your work on a calculator. Remember, you can finish up the page here and do the word problem page on the next page, or you can go in and do the buddy work online, and you must get your quick check done. If you feel confident, you can dive right into that quick check. Have a great day.